Okay, now if you need to remove the whole assembly, say you think you've got hair in there, it's not turning right, something's not going right for you, you're going to pull this assembly out, okay? And if you can see here, I do have hair up in here. You see this? That will need to be removed. Okay, and we're going to take this whole piece apart. Now I've got more pieces in here that I've got to fish out, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second here. We're going to set that. You're going to get something with a hook. You can even use a paper clip that you bend. Now if you look down in here, there's still one of the bearings, and there's another O-ring that's down in there. Now when pulling this out, you want to make sure you keep it straight. If you don't keep it straight and you cock the bearing, then it kind of sticks, and I've seen guys pull them out and pound them out, and next thing you know they got nothing but trouble. So I'm going to keep it straight as I pull it up. So I'm just kind of wiggling it and I'm walking it around, and I'm keeping it nice and straight as I'm pulling it out. Okay. Boom, I got it. We don't want to drop it down there, but we'll fish it out. Set it here for now. And there's another O-ring right here that's down in there. We're just going to set that to the side. And you're going to look down in your housing. There's no need to remove the whole spinner housing when doing this. It's actually easier to work on it on the unit. So I'm going to get some paper towel or anything just to push down in there and just clean and make sure there's no debris. Clean, you can blow it out. Use your air line. Blow it out. Okay, now these are going to be all your parts here. This was your bottom. This is sitting straight up. This is an O-ring. This is your bearing. These don't matter which direction they go, but pay attention as you're pulling this apart. Then there's a little flat washer. That doesn't matter what direction it goes. These are what's very important. This part here, if you see, it has a bevel, and it has the bevel for the next bearing. And this bearing, if you see, this is the part that's down. This is up, this is down. So if you see how this is, see how that's got flat metal? This is where the grease sits in on this side. That goes towards the top. So I'm going to face it down for now. Here's another one that's very important. As you see, the two sides are different. That's flat, that's what the bearing rides in. Then you've got a bushing, then you've got another bearing, and here is your stem. Okay, so you're going to go through and clean this stuff up, wipe this out. You may have to pack this with a little grease, but as you look, this is properly packed. You don't want to overpack them, you only need a bit. Sometimes you'll see debris in here where you have to repack this. Mine are fine. I just had a little hair at the bottom, and sometimes this comes out as one piece, and you can basically grab the hair that's around this O-ring and basically clean that housing out and put it right back together. So when we're putting it back together, it's real simple. And like I say, if you need to clean it out, you can use a little brake clean to clean this part of it out and then repack it just with the same amount of grease. There's not a whole lot. Okay. Okay, this bearing here, the grease doesn't look bad, but if your grease is really black or you've got hair and stuff caked in here, I'll take some brake clean and I'm going to shoot all the grease and clean this up real good. As you can see, you can shoot the grease right out of here. I know it's messy, hard to get on video. But I'm basically cleaning that bearing up real good. As you can see, I'm getting my grease out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to re-wipe this, re-grease this, and show you how to put it back together. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bearing. See how I clean that out real nice with brake clean, but there's no grease in it. I'm just taking red high temperature grease. You can use a white lithium grease. Just don't use a cheap grease. See, I'm just packing enough so it's getting down into this bearing. You'll see the one side is beveled again, that side's flat. There's nothing you can pack into there. Okay. I get a little messy with it. Maybe rub a little bit here. It doesn't take too much. A little bit on this bearing. Okay. So when reassembling this, as you've seen in the picture, this bearing is first. Then we've got your bushing. Then you've got flat side down. I'm actually building this upside down. This is the bottom, that's the top that's on the bottom. I'm building it upside down. So you have your beveled edge, which rides, this bearing rides inside. The side that you pack that's crevice, that's going towards the top. See, I'm building it upside down. Again, the beveled towards the bearing. Those sides are flat. Very small washer. One more bearing. And an O-ring. Wipe your greaser on your O-ring. We've already cleaned out in here. We're ready to load. Hold it. Okay. This is going to have Loctite put on it. You can see the old Loctite residue here. You can use a wire brush and clean it up, which it cleans up pretty easy. Or you can come over to your wire wheel here, it's sometimes a little faster. Basically, just want to get that clean. Okay, now that we have our threads cleaned on the cap, we're going to apply a little bit of Loctite. And you don't need a whole lot. Okay. We're just going to run a bit. Just make sure you're covered all the way around. See how the whole thing's covered all the way around? It's not a whole lot. Screw that on. Now it's very important that you get these at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So basically it's hand tight. It's not going to take much. Just look and make sure you've got it nice and straight. Wipe up any leftover Loctite you have. Reinstall your lid here. You may want to make sure you clean this up a little bit. Mine's clean. Take a little bit of Vaseline or something, doesn't really matter, and wipe down your O-ring here a bit. Just to lube it so you don't tear it. Reinstall our
What's going after?
lid. Now I always put my lid back on like it's a tire. I'll go one side, kind of cross it. Go ahead and reinstall our hard line. Just basically spread that open. Now again, when tightening these, you don't want to over tighten them because you will mushroom the hard line and then you won't be able to get it out. It doesn't take a whole lot of force. You're not holding a tire on. Oh, it's a little snug.